Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reselling Rhythms. I'm your host, Adam with Adam's Exploits. I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. Typically, I go live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Today, I'm doing a 4 p.m. start because my guest is gracious enough to work with my schedule and to allow me to have her on, and we're going to discuss some Amazon. I told you guys in the past I like to bring people on that have different skill sets than I do. And I explained before in my chat, some of you guys probably know it, some of you don't. When I first started, I was going to do Amazon. I purchased a course from the largest provider of Amazon-related materials, and I got kind of intimidated by it. And if you watch my Steve Rakin interview, Steve and I discussed it, and I tried to get involved with retail arbitrage, which is basically trying to buy things, whether it be on clearance or regular price, ship them into Amazon, and then sell them at a higher price. And then you make money. But you can either do it FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon, or you can do it FBM, which is fulfilled by merchant, which is kind of like eBay, where you actually purchase the stuff, you bring it to your home or your facility or warehouse, whatever, and then you ship it out directly to the customers. Or you can use fulfillment centers, which Steve mentioned in the video. So anyway, so I got kind of intimidated by Amazon. Our guest is very talented, and she'll tell us how long she's been doing Amazon. It's been less than a year, and she's doing a really super job. She has a Facebook group geared towards Amazon, and she's just a really great person, very knowledgeable, and a fast learner, obviously, because she's doing very well. And I consider her a friend. I really appreciate her being here for me. So we're going to get into that, but I just want to say hello to a few people in the chat, and then we'll roll into our guest. Earlier, our friend Joy was here. Hey, Joy. She says, "Hey, Adam's Exploits." I said, "Hey, Joy." If you're not watching Joy's channel, please do so. Joy is Be the Difference Clothing. It's very motivational, and she's a great lady. And she talks about being the best you can be, so to speak. We have Cricket in the chat. We have Anita Finita. We have our guest in the chat. We have Craig the Landshark Picker. We have, who else is in the chat at this point? Just me, Kathy, Jameson's Closet. And Kimmy, one of my favorite moderators. A good friend of mine is in the chat. And I'm sure that some of the other moderators will be coming in. I know I told Michelle that I was starting an hour late. Ricardo was in the chat. Deb Swag Maven is in the chat. So it looks like we have about 15, 20 people in the chat right now. So we're going to get started. So again, guys, typically, again, I'm live normally at 3 p.m. on Wednesdays. I'm starting an hour later today because my guest was wanting to work around my schedule and to allow me to have her on as a guest to speak about Amazon. Again, I'm not an Amazon person. Eventually, I would like to get an Amazon. But again, they have their own rules and regulations. So I kind of understand eBay fairly well, but I really am not very familiar with Amazon. So I want to bring somebody on to speak about Amazon because I tell you guys, I like to bring people that have different skill sets that I do to come on to educate my people, my guests, my chat people, my subscribers, and also educate me. So I'm going to bring on our guest, and then we'll have her introduce herself. So let me do that. So we got to do this, and we do this, and we'll do this. There we go. That's better.
I told them
not on the full screen.
Yeah, I told them not to make me full screen.
So there you go. There's our guest. Eat Sleep Amazon with Tiffany.
Yeah, hello everybody. I'm Eat Sleep Amazon, Tiffany, as many of you know. And I'm very thankful for Adam to invite me today. Today has been a kind of hectic day for me. I just got home a little bit ago. So anyway, I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. I see a lot of wonderful people, and I'm just really thankful to be here. So thanks to, Anita Finita, Just Me, Kathy, Borderline Hoarderish, Reseller Rowboat, Kelly Ecom. So many of you great guys. Joy from Be the Difference. I know you were first in Hero Girlfriend. Craig, Landshark Picker. Jameson's Closet. I may have said you. I don't know. I have a really bad headache. I'm just going to be honest right now. So I'm trying to be 100% for the show. I really appreciate Adam inviting me on, and I appreciate everybody showing support. And I hope that, you guys can find some good value from today's show. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we had discussed a few things that you want to roll into. You want to again, people that aren't that familiar with Amazon, you're going to give us some of the information about the different timelines, so to speak, and different things about storage fees. And once you get into what you would like to discuss and educate us on Amazon.
Yeah. So, Q4 is around the corner. It starts October 1st. And I know a lot of people are getting really anxious and excited. One thing that, you and I had talked about, Adam, were just like things that people can kind of do to get prepared. And this will be my first Q4 selling on Amazon. So I definitely don't have all the answers. I'm not, 100%, knowledgeable about Q4. But one thing that I did, I kind of made a list of some things. And one thing that I did want to bring up is that storage fees will be going up on October 1st on Amazon. So for people that do FBA, you have storage fees that you pay every month to Amazon, and they're usually pretty minimal. Amazon does tell you what those fees are. But just to give you an example, so like January through September, you're going to pay for standard size, you're going to pay like 69 cents a cubic foot. But October through December, which is Q4, you're going to pay $2.40 a cubic foot. So that's a pretty big difference.
Now,
yeah.
Okay, just interrupt you again. I mentioned briefly a little bit about what FBA is. So again, that's when you purchase product, whether it be wholesale, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, buying things at thrift stores, whatever, and you're shipping it into Amazon. You're shipping, and they have really discounted shipping rates. You ship it into Amazon. You label it before you ship it to them. You fill out, the information online. You ship it to them, and then basically Amazon handles They handle it. They put it in a location. They handle the shipping and the customer service, the billing, et cetera, collecting the tax. So when you ship into Amazon, there's storage fees. There's fees if you're again. What's the terminology again? There's the non-professional and the professional. Is that the terminology they use? So you pay $1 an item. What is the terminology that they use?
Yeah, so you have a professional, what they call pro merchant account,
Pro merchant account.
Yeah, or you have like a non-professional account.
Right.
But either way, you are going to have storage fees. So with FBA, like you said, you're buying things to sell on Amazon, but you're not storing it. You're sending it into Amazon's warehouse, and they're storing it for you. So they do charge you the storage fees, which it's really not that much, January through September, but October through December, those fees go up. So one thing that I recommend that I've started doing myself, and if, I have had a few people reach out to me and ask me like, hey, what are some tips for Q4? I would say, get rid of your stale inventory, get rid of items that are not selling, that you don't foresee selling anytime soon, because those storage fees are going to go up October 1st, and whatever you're paying in storage fees now, like say you've got an item, multiples of one particular item, and it hasn't sold in the past 90 days and it's still sitting there, I would say go ahead and get rid of that. Either sell it for a loss, dispose of it, have it sent back to you and send it back in at a different time. There's various different situations, but
right, I was going to ask you about that. You can actually have it sent back to you if you want to send it on a different platform, or you can actually have them just dispose of it, destroy it or whatever, get rid of it.
Yeah.
So they charge you a fee either way, right?
Yeah, so it's 15 cents to dispose of it, which they no longer like. Disposing sounds like they're going to throw it in the garbage, but what they actually do now, they have a system where when you dispose of items, they're actually donating it to a nonprofit.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's a new system that started September 1st.
Very nice.
They can return it to you for 50 cents a unit. Yeah, so those are your two options. Or you can also just sell it. You can sell it for,
price, right.
Yeah, sell it for a loss. I mean, obviously, if it you're going to lose more than 15 cents or 50 cents, it would make more sense just to, destroy it or have it sent back to you. But yeah, so
Question
Kelly.
by Beth, Reseller Rowboat,
Okay.
is disposing in the drop-down menu? Is that in the menu? How does that work?
So how it works is when you go into Seller Central, you're basically gonna do what's called like I need to pull it up so I can see exactly what it's called. You're gonna like click on manage inventory, and then you're gonna go to create removal order. And so when you create the removal order, then it's gonna ask you if you want to dispose it or you want it to be shipped back to you. So yeah, so that's a great question. So, and then you can also do quantities. So like say you have 100 units of one particular item and it's selling, but it's selling slow. So you may want to just dispose of 50 units or maybe return 50 units to yourself and keep the other 50, because you think those are going to sell. Yeah, that's also, it allows you not to just choose what you want to do, but how many of those units you want to do what with, if that makes sense.
Now, do larger resellers or people on Amazon, do they recall inventory, and when it's seasonal inventory, do they recall it and then store it in their location and ship it back in when it's that time of year? Because I know Pat Dees was talking about how he had purchased things at clearance, 90% off for Christmas type things, and he's shipping it in now. Can you ship that in for the holidays and then recall it because you don't want to have it sit there year round?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's your business, so you can run it however you want.
I'm assuming that's an option that some larger resellers do, right?
Are you asking like if they will
recall it for seasonality?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually, you brought us to like one of the next things that we wanted to talk about, which is like the meltables.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so meltables for anybody on Amazon, because if you're doing FBA and you're sending it into the warehouse, you have to think that, items that are going to potentially melt, like lipstick or gummy bears or there's a whole list of like examples. Basically, there's only a certain time of year that you can send those in because otherwise they're going to melt in the warehouse. So when the customer gets it, they're not going to be very
or melted transport.
Yeah.
You don't want to be shipping, chocolate when it's 95 degrees out.
I didn't want to overlook Kelly's comment. She said she has a list of books that she needs to dispose of. Yeah. And Kathy said she's glad to hear it's not ending up in a landfill. Yeah, and I don't think, Kathy, they used to dispose of it in a landfill. I believe what they used to do is they used to kind of sell it at liquidation. You would see like a lot of these places selling what they call like Amazon returns, which
exactly. That's probably what they do, right? So yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, but not all of it was
makes sense. Amazon returns, whether it be damaged or returns or things that were, like said, disposal items.
Yeah.
I never even thought about disposal items going into liquidation. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now Kelly said she keeps season stuff on Amazon year round. Says they even sell in all season. Okay, well I know Christmas sells year round, but
yeah, and that's the thing. There are certain things that will sell year round. I mean, even like you said, Christmas things or like winter items, like winter clothing or like heavy blankets and things like that. I was selling winter blankets over the summer. But I guess, one thing that like I use the software Keepa. So Keepa will show you like the sales.
That was one of the things I wrote down. I was going to ask you about Keepa. Keepa on with your Keepa.
Yeah. No, I need to laugh, Adam. This is good.
Okay. Yes, I wrote down Keepa, and we'll roll into that later. But you finish about your seasonals, your meltables.
Yeah. So the meltable season, you are allowed to send meltables back in FBA starting October 1st. So that's really exciting because Halloween's coming up. You can send in your Halloween candy. You can send in any other item that was a meltable that before was restricted during the summer months. You can start sending that back in. So that's really exciting because those are more items that you can sell, more opportunities for you to make money for your business. Yeah.
I want to ask you too about with meltables and with Halloween. And again, I don't know if you would know this. I mean, I tell my guests all the time, something pops in my head, I just have to talk about it while I'm thinking about it. So I'll write notes down, and then I'll say, oh, I should ask that. I forgot to ask that. With the candies and like seasonal, well, not seasonal things, but candies or dated items.
Yeah.
Does Amazon have any kind of requirements? I mean, how far out you have to have dates? I mean, if I ship in something now that's like October 30th date, is that, I mean, do they have rules as far as what you can ship in and the dates, how far out the dates have to go?
Yeah, absolutely they do. So they have very strict dates. I mean, very strict policies about expiration dates. Any kind of expiration date. So whether it's like a health and beauty product or it's a grocery item, off the top of my head, I can't tell you the specifics.
Right, I don't know if you were, but I'm assuming they have some kind of policy. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
and
assuming if you go into, what do they call that? It's Seller Central? Is that what they call it on Amazon?
yeah. Kelly is saying 90 days, and I do believe
Right.
for the majority of items, like I know with supplements, you have to, like, when you send in a supplement, it can't expire. Like there has to be at
Vitamins
least
and
90
minerals
days.
and that type of thing.
Yeah. But you want to give yourself more of a window than that, obviously. But
Sure. Because I when I buy my supplements, I'll buy like a year's worth.
yeah. So they
Yeah,
have
I'm a
specific.
thrifter. I'm looking for a deal. You know,
They
I'll buy
have
years worth. I'm not buying 30 days worth.
Yeah, they have specifics like regarding policies for expiration dates based on the type of item you're sending in. And you definitely, you always want to look into specifically what kind of items you are sending in, and what the policy is on that. And like a lot of people will get upset because they think it's like Amazon's job to keep track of expiration dates. There are some items where, because when you send it in, you'll put in the expiration date, and then you might, like, I've had this happen where I sent in something and Amazon flagged that it was expired, which it really wasn't. But it's honestly your responsibility to keep track of when your products expire. And if they haven't sold by then, you need to pull them. And if the customer gets it and it's expired, obviously they're going to be upset. So then that's going to come back on you. So expiration dates are a big thing. That's a good question.
And then they have metrics. I'm assuming like eBay does, right? So if you have like returns or I mean, we call them item not as described on eBay. I guess if you have a certain amount of negative type of events happening on Amazon, they have metrics. I understand they're much more strict than eBay as well.
Yeah, they're very, very strict. Like I said this before, I mean, no one's perfect, so you're going to make mistakes. But Amazon kind of like expects perfection. So you just want to really minimize the mistakes that you're going to make. So like, if a customer gets something and they see that it's expired, they're going to complain. Or they more than likely will complain, and it'll probably come back as like your product was defective. So then that'll go against your metrics for sure. So those are things you definitely want to, keep in mind for sure. Yeah, great question.
Okay, well, we're getting there. I mean, like I said.
Now
okay.
we did have a question from Ricardo.
Sure.
He said, "What is better for large quantities?" But I don't know what large quantities he's referring to.
Well, I know he had purchased, I don't know if he bought them in liquidation or where he bought them. He bought a bunch of prints. I know some of them were Native American prints and different things. And are we talking hundreds? Are we talking thousands? I think he may even be talking like thousands. And I guess
3 pallets. 3 pallets. Okay, that's a
3
lot.
pallets. Okay.
I would just say be careful. Like, so with Amazon, the majority of what you're going to be selling on Amazon should already be listed on Amazon. If your product that you have is not listed on Amazon, you're going to have to create a listing, which is a whole nother process, which is very, probably beyond the scope of this show.
A little intimidating too, right, for beginners, right?
And you also have to watch out if you're buying at liquidation, because I don't know specifically what you bought, Ricardo, but with a problem with liquidation, a lot of times is you don't have like what's called chain of custody for your items. So like if a customer, like, here's Purell hand sanitizer. If I bought this liquidation and I don't have a way to prove where I bought it, and I send it into Amazon and sell it, and then a customer gets it and says, it's not really Purell, it's a knockoff, I have no way to prove that. Or a customer gets it and says, hey, it was supposed to be new and it's used. I have no way to prove that I bought it new. So you just want to be really careful with that. That might be those items. I don't know the specifics, but that might be like eBay, Mercari, other,
Other
Grit.
platforms, right?
Yeah, other platforms.
That's an issue too, as far as if you're ungated on certain items. Again, ungated means you're allowed to sell that on that platform. Again, I tell people most of my, it looks like quite a few of the people in the chat today are experienced sellers, but I do have, beginners and, intermediate sellers, but I'm looking at the chat. Most of the people are experienced sellers, but I mean, as far as ungating, and then you can't even, technically you can't use receipts, right? If you do retail arbitrage, like technically that's a no, right? You really want to have wholesale invoices, and you have to have don't you have certain quantities and things? I mean, I know Amazon's it's kind of alluded how you get ungated and meet their requirements.
So
Could you address that a little bit?
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to go because and Ricardo, you can PM me. You know how to reach me. He said that his items have UPCs. So what I would do is type the UPC into Seller Central or scan it with Seller Central app and see if you pull anything up. You can also try typing it in and see maybe these are sold as bundles or multi-packs. But for the most part, if what you're trying to, like, especially if you're a new seller, I would not recommend starting off creating a listing.
You should probably try to sell it on another platform like eBay or Mercari.
I would recommend if you're starting Amazon, unless you're trying to do private label, which is, I don't do that.
Right.
I know people that do it. I can tell you who to talk to, but if you're trying to do retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale, and you want to start Amazon, I would recommend starting with products that are already on Amazon. Yeah. So, okay. So your question. So you cannot get ungated with receipts. I will say the disclaimer that there are people that have said that they got ungated with receipts from like a retail store, but the hard and fast rule of Amazon is that you need an invoice.
Right.
Now, sometimes Amazon employees will make mistakes because, we're all human and we all make mistakes. So there are people that have gotten quote unquote ungated with receipts, but don't count on it because honestly, when you go to apply to ungate in big categories like toys or topicals or supplements or, etc., it's going to tell you like what you need, and it's going to tell you need an invoice. You can try to submit a receipt, but you're not, more than likely, you're not going to get it. If you do, you're very lucky. You should probably go out, and get a lotto ticket because it's your lucky day.
Your local casino.
I've seen in Facebook groups where people have said like, I got ungated, but then you also have to think about this. Like there are people that get ungated that way, and then eventually Amazon catches it. Like, oops, we made a mistake, and then they get regated. So just do the ungating the legitimate way. That's what I tell people.
Right.
Now you can, go ahead.
I was going to say now liquidation is not. If you have a receipt from a liquidation company, that's technically not an invoice. Correct?
Usually not. It depends on what you're doing. For the most part, no.
I mean, it is an invoice, but as far as Amazon's concerned, it's not an invoice.
For the most part, no.
Right.
For the most part,
yeah. People do liquidation in the chat, and I mean, I'm eventually probably going to do a little bit of liquidation.
Yeah, I mean, with liquidation, you really want to be careful on Amazon because, again, it's very difficult to establish a chain of custody for your items. So if you get, used, sold as new, or counterfeit complaints or whatever else, which I will tell you that you will get them because customers will complain.
Sure.
Maybe they don't. Yeah, maybe they don't. I mean, and it might just be because they don't like the price they paid for your item. So they're like, you know what, this is fake. So I would just be very careful doing that. I would not recommend it. I would recommend, sticking with retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, or buying things wholesale. Um, Yeah. Now you can, back to the receipts, you can use receipts for those claims. So like if you buy things at retailers like Walmart, Target, etc., and a customer says, "Hey, it's counterfeit," you can use your receipt to submit to Amazon to say, "Hey, I bought it from a legitimate retailer. It's not counterfeit. Here you go."
Now, certain resellers buy. Again, I'm a layman as far as Amazon, but they'll buy not black market products, but like second say. Let's just say Ross. I mean, a lot of people resell athletic shoes from Ross, and
Uh-huh.
they're seconds. They're not. I mean, they could have blemishes or things. So if
Yeah.
you put that into Amazon and it comes back as a return, technically that shouldn't be on their platform. So I mean,
Yeah.
that
I
does
mean,
happen. That's something you should probably sell on eBay or Mercari, and you should probably note that it's. I mean, technically, you should note that it could be a second.
yeah. I
Honestly,
mean,
take pictures
I
of the
don't.
faults.
Yeah, I don't source from like Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx,
Right.
but there are people that do that,
Exactly.
and there are ways that you can do that, and it's legitimate. But you do also have to just, you have to do your due diligence, because like you said, you could be buying things from those items that, like, those stores that are defective.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's you're making some good points.
Well, I mean, I've been doing this for like 2 or 3, I guess, going on 3 years now. But again, I follow Amazon, but I'm kind of intimidated by it. And I think I told you earlier in the show, I belong to like the largest Amazon educational group there is.
Yeah.
So I listen to a lot of their podcasts, and I listen to they do like a live show every Tuesday on Facebook. So I listen to the person they have do that. So I mean, I want to learn about Amazon, but like I said, I'm kind of intimidated by it. So I know a little
Okay.
bit about Amazon. I just don't know all the technicalities and
Yeah.
the rigmarole and the proper procedures and that type.
What podcast is it that they do on Tuesdays?
Well, you have to be a member of Jim's
No,
group.
it's like a paid group or
The
something.
paid group, yeah.
Okay.
Jim
Okay.
Cockrum. Um,
Okay.
Jim Cockrum. In fact, I mentioned him when I did Steve Rakin's interview. Uh,
Okay.
Great guy, very very religious, family oriented, super group, international group of people,
Yeah.
and he has like dozens and dozens and dozens of videos and podcasts.
Yeah.
Silent Sales Machine. He does have the book available on Amazon. It's pretty reasonable. I think you can get it on get on ebooks or get it on the podcast. For pretty reasonable. But yeah, he's very, very talented, really interesting guy. But I'm pretty sure you have to be a member of the paid group to get access. And he'll send you like messenger links, and then you click on the link, and it's kind of like a private Facebook group. And then you go into the private Facebook group, and you can listen to the chat or whatever. You can ask questions. In fact, she's having a problem. She does it on Tuesday evenings. The woman that does it for him. Again, she's disabled. I keep coming back to being disabled, but a lot of my viewers have disabilities. But she has a lot of disabilities, and she got divorced, and she has, I think, 2 children. She's younger than me. I think she's probably like in her late 40s, early 50s, and she's kind of like homebound. She does a lot of her stuff online arbitrage because she has difficulty getting around. I mean, she's a large woman and she has a lot of medical issues. She has difficulty getting around, but she does go to Jim's various, like, when he does his like national, they just had a thing. I think it was like a 5 or 6 day seminar. It's a national thing. They do it once a year. I think he does like 2 or 3 things a year, but this was like their real big thing that they had. And she had like mobility scooters and that type of thing. But it's really interesting. So I mean, I do try to learn about Amazon because I have people that have questions about Amazon. Like I said, I mean, I have my Facebook group, which doesn't have nearly as many members as you or some of the other groups. But I mean, I do have Amazon sellers in there, and I have eBay sellers, and I have Poshmark sellers. And by the way, while I'm thinking about it, so I don't forget to mention, guys, Tiffany does have a Facebook group.
Oh, thank you.
That is listed in the description below. Her Instagram, her YouTube channel, and her Facebook group are all listed in the description below. So, like I am, a lot of useful information from Tiffany. Please feel free to message her or to join her Facebook group. So I wanted to mention that. That was on my list, but I wanted to mention it while it came to mind. So, well, there were any
Thank you
questions I
so
had?
much. Thank you. Yeah,
No.
absolutely. And Chris the Goose, he said, great advice to research and learn as much as possible. Yeah, before.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with eBay and Macquarie and those type of platforms. I mean, because Amazon is so not restrictive, but they're very rigid about the rules, and which I understand.
Yeah,
That. I mean, they're a 600
yeah,
pound girl. They want to be that way, and they want to be very customer service oriented. So it's better in my
yeah,
mind. It's better to learn reselling, whether it be through eBay or from Macquarie, before you get involved in an Amazon. Or even like Poshmark's a little more difficult to me because you have the social aspect of sharing things. But try
yeah.
to learn on eBay, try to learn on Macquarie.
Right,
Like I said, I got intimidated by the retail arbitrage. Trying to find things on clearance and ship that into Amazon. I had difficulty finding things. I got frustrated, and talking to a lot of the experts that do Amazon, they said, no, you shouldn't start out with retail arbitrage. It's kind of intimidating. Start out with books. Especially if you live in an area that you're close to college or universities,
right,
you can get the books. I mean, sometimes if you go into, I mean, don't get arrested for dumpster diving, guys. I'm not telling you to do this, but some people do it. They'll dumpster dive at universities or like in the general vicinity of the university, because there'll be housing in that area. Could be private housing, and the students just dump their books in the trash cans or whatever. They don't even they don't take it back to the bookstore, and that's an opportunity because textbooks typically. Not always, but again, from my gleaming from watching these different things, could be more profitable.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, books are a great way to start for sure. That's a common theme. I didn't start with books, but I think my situation is very unique. And I do think, like you said, especially if you've done other reselling, like reselling on other platforms, and you do want to get started with Amazon, I think books would be a good way to go because um, there's less restrictions when it comes to books. Like there's not a lot of prep involved. There's not a lot of rules. I mean, you slap a label on it, you can send it in.
I guess the biggest thing with books is the condition, right? And my saying, and I've other resellers say that, under promise and over deliver.
Yeah.
Or just something you consider maybe a good. I mean, again, I don't know all the rules as far as books, but let's just say something you considered good. Maybe you want to list it as fair because it's actually good. And you don't want to list it as good, and somebody says, "Oh, that book's not good. It's fair." It's like.
Yeah, just me, Kathy. She said that I jumped in the deep end without floaties, and honestly,
Your floaties, huh?
Like it's just like I started Amazon a little over 6 months ago, and I mean, it's just something that has just come natural to me. Like I just picked it up, and I feel very blessed, and I enjoy it so much, which is why I try to help other people because, I feel like if you can make some sort of income doing something that you enjoy, like, that's the best of life. But I definitely recommend people do their research, watch, they have Seller Central videos on YouTube, and, you can read, all the guidelines for things. And like you said, with the books, the condition guidelines are a big thing, like you definitely
use records. I mean, I have some records I'm going to sell them on eBay. But I mean, as far as the conditions of the covers and the dust covers and the scratches and that whatnot, you need to, like I said, under promise, over deliver.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Now, okay, and I want to just in a roundabout again. I tell you how things pop in my mind. That's just the way I work. You're not familiar with my channel. That's how I work. I mean, anyway. You live in an area that's kind of like small townish, but you jumped right into originally you're from the big area in Texas, the big city area. So now you're looking at a smaller area, a small town kind of area, and you jumped right into retail arbitrage. And you, like I said, you're a quick learner.
Yeah.
Why did you, again, because I told you, I got intimidated by the retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. And people tell me, well, start out with books. Why did you, I don't think you told me you don't do any private label, right? At this point.
No. Oh, no.
Do you do any wholesale? I don't want your secrets, but do you do any wholesale?
Yeah.
I do some wholesale. Okay.
Yeah. I really like the wholesale because, with my wholesale distributors, like I don't even touch the product. I just
You send it into the prep centers?
no, like
No, they handle it for you?
yeah, the wholesale company that I have accounts with, they just send it straight into Amazon
Oh,
for
wow,
you.
that's great.
Yeah, it's really nice. So
But that's something, obviously, you had to do a lot of research to figure out how to find wholesalers that would do that for you.
well, with wholesale, the name of the game is you just have to you have to start researching, because a lot of companies you're going to talk to, like if you don't have a brick and mortar store, they're not going to give you an account, or they'll give you an account, but then they'll say, well, you can't sell certain items on Amazon. And, and it was, I'm not going to lie, like it was very, very intimidating and uh, discouraging at the beginning because.
Sure. I mean, I guess it's kind of like you have to shake a lot of hands and kiss a lot of babies to find that one that's going to accept you, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the word terminology, but you know what I mean.
I mean, I think I have like maybe 3 wholesale accounts right now, and
You might have reached out to 50 or 100 different. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we never discussed it.
I think it's closer to it's closer to like almost 100. So
you reached out to like 100 and you were able to get 3 to accept that, Now, again, do you have to have an LLC? Do you have to, I guess they want a resale certificate, right?
yeah. So from my experience, when you get into wholesale, you really want to represent yourself as a business. You want to be like an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp. You want to be some sort of business entity, not just like representing yourself as an individual.
Right.
Yeah. So you definitely want to
I mean,
do
and that
that.
adds legitimacy to you too when you're approaching these various
Right.
wholesalers.
Now, back to what you're saying. When I started Amazon, I actually started with online arbitrage.
Okay.
So yeah, I did online arbitrage, and then I started, RA because like I tipped my toe in the water, of RA, as they say, and I just realized how much fun it was. Like I love RA so much.
You're a shopaholic. Admit it.
Well, I just like when I go.
I'm just teasing you. I'm just joking. Yeah,
I like it's like so exhilarating when you find like a really good deal on something, and then like you realize like the profit you can make on it, and you're like, and it's like
stands up. It's like, wow, I can make this much money.
And you're in the store with all these people that have no idea what you've just found and what's going on.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
so you started out doing online arbitrage, and then you really were passionate about doing retail arbitrage.
Yeah, I love retail arbitrage. I mean, I love OA as well, but it's just a different kind of feeling when you're in the store and you're scanning it. I use Scoutify from Inventory Lab, which is a free app that comes with Inventory Lab, and but so now I do RA, I do OA, I do wholesale. I don't do any private label.
Or is that in the future you're planning on possibly doing private label, or?
I don't really think so.
I guess the whole thing now is, I mean, again, as a newer seller, and again, guys, I try to stay away from this topic, but with all the rigmarole with Alibaba and China and all, it might not be the greatest time to hop in, I guess, to purchasing things from China to as private label. And I would assume that probably upwards of 90% are from China, right? The private label, or even more.
Yeah, and the thing with private label these days is it's so competitive.
Right. And then you have to promote your item, because like I know Casey talks about, Rockstar Flipper says, there's Yankee candles, and he'll always pick up a candle from his desk and say, well, this is Casey's candle. It's like, well, how do you get Casey's candle to sell when it's up against Yankee candle?
Yeah, I mean, the thing
for click ads, and I mean, again, I don't know all the the technicalities, but
like I know a few private label sellers that do really well. I mean, I don't know them super personally, they're more just like acquaintances, but I know of how they do their business and what they advise for private label, and you have to private label these days is a lot more competitive, Like you
Right.
can't just find
And the
something.
margin's a lot smaller, right, on private label, or no?
No, it's a lot
Oh,
better.
wholesale, it's small, right? It's kind of tight on
Yeah.
wholesale, right?
Private label is super big money, but
Okay.
it's also very capital intensive and it's very risky because you're
You might
basically,
have to buy X amount of hundreds or thousands of items or pallets or whatever just to get started.
well, not so much that, but you have to basically bring a unique product to market. So
Okay.
because nowadays it's so competitive, like 10 years ago, you could just go on Alibaba and you could find a product that nobody else was selling on Amazon,
Mhm.
put your label on it, like, hey, this is Adam's, Adam's product, throw
Right.
it up on Amazon and boom, people are going to buy it. But nowadays, like it's so much more competitive with private label that it's more about designing and creating your own product.
And the
So
other thing is
that
that it
takes,
gets bundles too, right? I mean, that's for what I learned about bundles are big too.
yeah, well, but yeah, so bundles are not really private label. That's more of like a wholesale
So
or
you would buy something wholesale or retail arbitrage and then make a bundle as opposed to buying things private label and making a bundle.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you wouldn't put together like say like a coming back to candles. I don't know, a candle and a candle stick holder and or tea lights and things that you put tea lights in as a bundle. I mean, I'm just I'm spitballing here, but
So with Amazon, like they have, you want to go through and read the policies of
right.
bundling. They say it has to make sense. And they have certain things that you can't bundle, like you can't bundle books. I think,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah,
Wasn't aware of that.
I think video games is another one that you can't bundle. But bundles are great for sure. Kelly was saying she loves doing bundles. I may reach out to Kelly because
Yeah, I mean, from what I've learned, again, watching Jim Cochran's people, I mean, bundles are big. And then what's the two ladies that do the show? The
mommy income.
Mommy Income, exactly. They talk
Yeah,
about bundles all the time too. Yeah, they're neat
yeah,
ladies too. They're neat people.
yeah,
Mommy
yeah.
Income, exactly.
There's
Yep.
there's a lot of really, good bundle people out there.
Hmm.
And what's cool about bundling is like, I mean, it seems like there's just endless opportunities, you know?
Right.
So
And you kind
yeah,
of like got to think out of the box a little bit. Because I mean, I hear people like Scott the Bearded Picker. He'll go into like a Walmart or Walgreens or something, and he necessarily doesn't buy clearance. Or I mean, you may do the same thing. You might just walk up to a product, a regular product that's on the shelf, and say, "Hey, let me scan this. Let me scan this. Let me scan it." And I'm sure people like Jason Deason and other people that do it, and Scott and Shane Rising Grind Picker, they probably do it too. They just start scanning stuff. It's like, oh, maybe this is profitable on Amazon, and they'll just start scanning regular price stuff. It's like, oh, it's $3 here. I can sell it on Amazon for $6. Even after my fees, it's profitable and I can do high volume. I mean, I
yeah,
wouldn't think to start scanning like things, and I wouldn't even know where to start. I would just be
yeah.
overwhelmed.
Yeah, the majority of, what I sell is not clearance. I mean, in order to really scale your business, you definitely,
Well, you
um,
need replenishables too. I mean, if you can find thing that you can buy on a regular basis, if it's clearance, it might just might skew down because it could be seasonal or something, right? The price just
right,
drops or it's a discontinued item. You want to find
right,
things that you can continuously source and ship in, right?
right, absolutely. And that's one thing that makes like online arbitrage really fun is because like you can do what they call like deal stacking. So,
What's still stacking? That's a new term. I've never heard that.
like you can get like say you're going to get something from walmart.com.
Okay.
So you can buy a Walmart gift card at a discount. Okay.
Right.
So say I can buy $100 Walmart gift card for 90 bucks. So I just saved 10 bucks. Okay. And then I can use like a cashback site, and get like, 3% or
So
5%.
there's Raken now, and I mean, I have several I have Chrome
Yeah.
extensions.
There's a Chrome extension I highly recommend by Christopher Grant. It's called Rev ROI. And
Okay.
whenever you go to a website, it will tell you, you click on it, and it tells you like all the cashback sites, and it tells you which one's going to give you the highest cashback for that
Oh, nice.
site.
Can you type or do you have YouTube open or you don't have
Chris Grant, if you're watching, let me see if
what happened?
I said Chris Grant, if Chris Grant's watching, he
Who
needs
was
to.
Chris Grant?
Christopher Grant. He does a lot of online arbitrage with tactical
Oh, okay.
arbitrage, and All right, so this Chrome extension is Rev ROI. I'm going to drop the link here. It's not letting me drop the link. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Because let me. I can. Kimmy, can you approve that, or somebody can approve that link for Tiffany? I didn't.
Oh, because I'm not a mod. That's
yeah,
why.
and I'm in StreamYard. I can't.
Oh.
You can't make. I mean, I have my
Okay.
I have it open. I can. Where are you?
But so the cool thing about like online arbitrage is like back to what I was saying, like so you can buy like a
did you type it in yet? I don't see it.
Yeah. Let me see.
Okay, because I do have I did pop out my chat just in case I had to.
All right, let's see. Yeah,
I don't see it either, Michelle. I don't see it. Are you typing it in? You're not typing it in StreamYard.
If you guys just Google Rev ROI.
ROI.
That's the name of it. Yeah.
ROI.
Yeah, Rev ROI. So
ROI.
Yeah, REVROI.
Oh, there it is. REV.
It's a Chrome extension. So basically, so like what I was saying is with online arbitrage, like you can get like a, you can get a gift card, so you're going to save money with that. And then you're going to use the cashback site. And then, that helps kind of lower your cost of goods.
Okay.
Texas Val found it and added it. Okay. I don't know how much it costs. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about some of those sites too. I mean, the ones that you get. Will you finish your train of thought?
Oh, that was just it. Like that's part of what I was saying. The cool thing about thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Kimmy, so much. Yeah, that's just what I was saying.
If you ever need a phone or friend, Michelle Lofton. She knows everything, all the trivia questions.
If you're doing online arbitrage,
I had to say that, Michelle. I'm sorry.
That's one thing that's cool because you're doing this deal stacking, and then like if like the websites have specials, like if they have buy one get one free, or buy one get one 50% off, or what have you, like all of that, so these are just cool ways that you can kind of lower your cost of goods.
Right. And like, I mean, I again, Beth was in the chat. I don't know if she still is, but I was talking about, and then Kimmy and I had discussed this about, I was raised, my mother was kind of like sort of like a single parent, because I explained before in my chat that my dad was disabled growing up. He had Parkinson's disease, and then he ended up getting leukemia. And so anyways, and then I went to a local college so that I'd help out with my father. So my mother was kind of frugal, not frugal, but she had to, make a buck, stretch a buck. So I learned how to be frugal that way too. So that's like when I go to Las Vegas. I mean, I enjoy Las Vegas, and when I had a good job, I could go and enjoy myself. And so now it's kind of like I got to stretch the buck. So I mean, do what you got to do. Like I said, I used the rewards credit cards when I was in Las Vegas, and when I charge like 90% of my credit when I buy things on credit, I put that on my Caesars credit card. So I build up comps. So when I go to Las Vegas for they open, I can go to Hell's Kitchen, or I can go to other Gordon Ramsay's restaurants that are a part of Caesars, and I can use my comps for that.
Yeah.
I have Sam's credit card. So when I get gas, and if you're a reseller and you're driving a lot, you're doing retail arbitrage, get a rewards card, whether you get airline miles or you get with Sam's credit card to get 5% back on gas.
Yeah.
I mean, the gas is like $2.50, $3 a gallon. You're talking 12 to 15 cents per gallon I'm getting back. And you got to get credit with Sam's credit card. Basically, you get credit towards Sam's when you build up a certain amount. I think it's $100. Then you can use that money at Sam's. So, and then use Rakin, or you use I forget what the other ones. I have like 12 Chrome extensions up here.
Yeah. There's a lot of.
Do you use Camel?
I don't know. I use Keepa.
Use Keepa.
I have a Keepa shirt, which is in the laundry. I need to order more, so I have.
How about you use this again? I add all these apps because people say recommend it, and I just add them. It's like throw them up there. It's called DS Amazon Quick View.
Yes.
Use that.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit again? I have that. That's something to do with if you're a seller, right? On Amazon, it tells you if it's profitable, or it shows your rankings, or what exactly is that extension?
Now I have the free version because I minimize my software expenses.
Right. Well, that's the other thing too. And you can't subscribe to everything.
So basically, like with DS Amazon Quick View, like say I'm going to put in something like baby wipes on Amazon, and it's going to pull up all of these listings. So with Amazon Quick View, what it's going to do is it's going to give me the ASIN, it's going to give me the rank, it's going to tell me if it's sold by Amazon
Yeah.
or sold by merch.
Okay, for ASIN, why don't you explain ASIN to the newbies, what an ASIN is?
Okay. So ASIN basically, like, I don't exactly know what it stands for, but my definition would be like Amazon's unique identifier for the
Right.
item.
I mean, it's not a UPC code, but in layman's term, it's like Amazon's UPC code for that particular item, like item number, let's say.
Right. So
In
every
layman's terms, I
item,
know technically that's not the way to say it, but it's like their item number or their catalog.
So
whatever you want.
yeah. So every item on Amazon is going to have its own ASIN.
Right.
Not just item listing. I would say every listing.
Right.
Better definition is going to have its own ASIN. I do have the Amazon Quick View. That's a really good one. I mean, I would say to learn how to use these things, especially if you're paying for them, make sure that you know how to use them. Keep up.
I made the moderator, so if you want to share that in the chat.
Oh, okay. The DS Amazon.
You're privileged. You're a moderator. I don't just freely just throw these things out there. You know that, right?
Thank you, Adam. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, DS Amazon Quick View is that the one you wanted me to share?
Yeah. Okay. If you want, well, you actually, I can, let's try. Guys, bear with me here. I tried to do this on Best Channel and I wasn't able to do it. Let me just try. You want to try to do a screen share, or you're intimidated by it? You don't want to mess with that?
Oh no, we're not screen sharing. Right now.
Okay, we'll avoid that.
Amazon standard.
We'll do it on a private. We'll do it on a private video sometime. We'll try to do some.
Thank you, Don. That's awesome. Amazon standard identification number. Thank you. That is awesome.
Thank you, Dawn.
You learn something new every day.
Thanks for joining us, Dawn. Appreciate your help.
Okay, so I'm going to put the Chrome extension in there. Especially if you're paying for these Chrome extensions, I would say to definitely, make sure you understand how to use them so you're getting the most bang for your buck. And Eric made a really good point, which is right now, if you're going to go to the Rev ROI, there is a discount code, Reezy, and you get it for free. That's what he said.
That's from Reezy. But that crazy guy, Reezy Resells, is that his code?
I know Chris Grant was recently on Reezy's channel.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
But anyway. So yeah, I mean,
that he probably has like 100,000 subscribers, something crazy. But
so there's a lot of cool ways that you can find, even if you're buying full price items, you can get them for cheaper. And like you said, you made a good point. Like, use those point systems that you can to get rewards.
Sure. What's a gift card granny or something where you can get these discounted gift cards? And
gift card granny is one. I haven't personally used the gift card route yet. I know that that's one that people talk about.
I talk about that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So gift card granny.
You read any of these different, how-to books, and they always say, well, you can always get, like, I subscribe to a lot of these different like discount website things where they tell you where the deals are, and they'll say you can use a discounted this gift card or that card or this card, and it's true. I mean, maybe you pay 92 cents on the dollar, but that's 8% extra. And if you're buying a lot of things, and that's the other issue too. Have you had that experience with online arbitrage as far as they kind of like you got to watch how much you buy? I know they talk about that in Jim Cochran's group, the woman that has the show on Tuesday evenings. She says like she'll mix it up. She'll buy like one of this and three of this and one of this. Then she'll come back again and she'll buy it again. She can't buy like 30 of the one item because then like throws up red flags in the website. It's like, whoa, this is a reseller. This is something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I tend not to buy in larger quantities than 10 per transaction.
10 per transaction.
Yeah, that's my
maybe do like three tens.
Yeah, that's my
30 or 40 or 50 of one item at one point.
Yeah, because I have
pro tip.
I mean, I don't think that's a pro tip.
He used to say pro tip. That's a pro tip, guys. I do learn. I do absorb a little bit occasionally when I listen to these things. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I mean, no, that's a good point. Like, a lot of people that do online arbitrage,
Target discourages resellers.
Well, other websites too, they'll flag your account. And I even heard today somebody was saying that I didn't get to read the full context of the thread on it was on a Facebook group, but they were saying They were saying that they were buying the gift cards for online arbitrage, and I guess their account got suspended.
Oh, really?
I guess because they bought too many gift cards. I don't.
They got suspended
So
from the gift cards? Wow.
from buying
Or from that particular website because they were using so many gift cards?
Well, no, not from using it. They got suspended from buying
From
gift
buying
cards.
them on the website that sold gift cards?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I don't know the context. Like, I don't know if they were
Okay, yeah, well, yeah.
maybe they were using multiple accounts or something.
Okay. Okay, sure.
I don't know. But it's definitely, I mean, these are things that you have to watch out for sure.
Now, do you use BrickSeek at all? Do you get involved with that?
Lately I don't do like RE too much. I do mostly OA
Okay.
and replens and stuff like that. I have used BrickSeek off and on, to be honest. Like, I just
BrickSeek is not again. I'm as layman term. It's something you use to find out if a particular retailer has. You find an item that you figure, oh, it's on clearance at such and such a store. Do they have it at this location? They have it at that location. So maybe you go to, like, say it's Walmart. You go to one that's 3 miles away. And you go to one that's 10 miles away. You go to one that's 15 miles. So you want to hit like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Walmarts. I know Shane Rides Ride Picker do that some night. He'll go out for 7, 8 hours to go boom, 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 hit all those different,
yeah.
that item, and I'll try to scoff them all up.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that BrickSeek can be very valuable if you know how to use it.
I've done a little research. They have free, premium, and they have extreme. So the free, and then there's the premium is $10 a month. The extreme is $30 a month.
Yeah,
again, there's all other sites like that too, as well as like Keepa is a paid site now, correct?
Yeah, and Keepa, what Keepa is gonna do is it's gonna help you like understand basically if you should buy an item, if you do buy an item, like what it's going to probably sell for on Amazon, how fast it sells on Amazon, all of that stuff.
What do they call that? Velocity, right? Is how fast it sells?
Yeah, exactly. So
that was one thing I wanted to bring again. I'm sorry, finish your train of thought.
And I was just going to say, you can see the whole history of the ASIN. So that way, like if it's a seasonal item, you can kind of see that it's seasonal.
That's what I was going to mention. So finish your train of thought. I want to address that a little bit.
Yeah, that's all I was going to say.
No, okay, because I was listening to Pat Dees, who was in the chat earlier. Scott the Bearded Picker, who does a lot of retail arbitrage, had popped in the Pat's chat, and actually, I mean, he came on the show. I mean, he popped in because Pat had shared the link, and he had made some neat points that I wanted to bring up because I'll tell you guys, I don't really do Amazon, so I'd like to have people to talk about Amazon, and eventually one day, and I really appreciate. Tiffany, she wasn't feeling well today, and she had some personal business to take care of. But I really appreciate her coming on and helping me out. So I'm hoping I'm distracting her a little bit, so she's enjoying the show, even though she's fighting her way through it. But he had brought up about the different seasonal items, and how what happens is, say like Christmas type items or Halloween type items, it'll skew up in price, but then that affects the velocity. Like you might sell a lot more Christmas items at Christmas time, but the price will go up, and that might not necessarily be the year-round price. So you might think, I'm going to make a fortune on these items at this price, but sell at a premium at that holiday, but that year-round, they're not going to sell at that premium. And if you didn't research it, you wouldn't know that. Which I 100%. Because I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah, and
they skew the price up come the holidays because people if they need something, they were going to pay that price, the premium price. But
and that's
sometimes here it doesn't sell at that price.
Yeah, and that's why I use Keepa, because you can see the whole price history, you can see the whole buy box history, you can see the sales rank history, you can see all of that. Now this is with the paid version, but it's like $18 a month, and I really think it's worth it because, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't really go by sales rank because sales rank is like a snapshot in time. So something could be a wonderful sales rank right now, and it could be a terrible sales rank by Friday. And, that just...
Okay.
Huh?
That okay.
Well, yeah, because it all has to do with, like, the sales rank is going to go down in the category every time it's bought. But then there's other items in the category. So if those are selling and this one's not, it's going to go up. And, I like to look at Keepa because then I can kind of get a better idea of like what's really going on. And like you said, with seasonal items, or maybe with items that, like there are certain items that this is a really good, if you have Keepa, it'll be orange when Amazon is selling it. And most of the time when Amazon's selling a product, the price is really like it tanks, like the price is terrible. But as soon as Amazon sells out, the Keepa graph is no longer orange, it'll be white. And then you'll see the price go up. And yeah, so that's like an opportunity. There are certain items like I have some.
Amazon is selling it and they have the buy box. They kind of lower the price. Then you
gotta
wait till they run out of stock.
Well, in general, Amazon tanks the price of everything because they're buying at high volume.
Oh, sure,
high quantity,
kind of over and above what you would get it at.
100%. They're buying at high quantity, and honestly, Amazon does not make its profit from reselling. Amazon makes its profit from the other services it provides.
Prime.
Yeah, well, like
selling videos or selling. Now they're selling subscription services.
Yeah. Well, the storage fees and the FBA fees.
And now you can buy subscription services on like products like whole food goods, or you buy like what do they call it, the button, I forgot what they call that. You buy like snacks or whatever, diapers or paper towels or whatever, and have them come every month or every 3 months or every 6 months.
Yeah.
Subscription service, money on that. That happened to me once. I bought it. It was a great deal, like on snacks. I took to Vegas. It's like, oh, this is a great deal. It's like a quarter pack. And then like 4 months later, something showed up. It's like, I didn't order that. It's like, oh, shoot. I had that on a subscription service, and it was like $5 more per box.
Yeah, the price.
I'm going to go back and check all my subscriptions and make sure I cancel all my subscriptions. But,
you have to watch out for those.
There's an Italian phrase, a stu not means a dummy. I'm not Italian, but a stu not is a stupid. I was stupid. I made a mistake.
But there's some items that like you can, if you get them, say you are shopping clearance, or say you're shopping online arbitrage and you're getting a really good deal on it. I mean, it depends on if you want to tie up that capital, but like if you look at Keepa, it may not be profitable right now because Amazon's selling it, but you know that when Amazon sells out, you can send it in and make pretty good money on it. So
there's an extension. I forget what the extension I use. I don't want to hop into Amazon, but there's something that I can click on it and it shows me like the price history. I mean, I use that as a buyer.
Yeah. Well, Keepa does that.
I don't think it's Keepa, but it's something like that, and it'll show you like, okay, well, this is the lowest price, and you can also track the price. You can say, okay, alert me when this price drops 5%, 10%, 20%. So as a buyer or a seller, you can do that. Like if I'm buying things like equipment for YouTube or equipment for my reselling business, I can say, well, alert me when this price goes on sale, basically, so I can buy it.
Now Kelly is saying something called honey.
Honey, that's exact. Thank you. Honey is the thing that I use. Thank you. Yep.
Okay.
Honey, yeah. Look into that, Tiffany.
So
I use honey as a Chrome extension.
What does the honey do?
That's what I use, honey. And if you go like on Amazon page, and it'll come up as a Chrome extension. It'll come up and it'll say, like, say I'm looking to buy a GoPro Hero 7 Black.
Yeah.
So I'll type it in Amazon. And then it'll tell me, like, Wiki Buys will tell me if it's a better price somewhere else. And a lot of times they make a mistake because, like, Amazon might be running like a coupon or something and they don't pick that up. But also you can buy it at this place at a discounted price and there's no sales tax. And then Honey will tell you, it'll have like a price graph as far as when it's the best price. And then it'll tell you, okay, well, a certain date it was like, say, $10, for layman's term, it was $10. Yeah. So now it's like $14. And then you can see, like, it'll go like this, and then maybe it'll peak and valley.
Cool.
It's really neat, and you can track it. You can say, okay, I forget what they call it. Maybe she'll know what it was, but there's a terminology. You can put it like in a folder, and it'll keep track of all these different items, and then it'll alert you when the price goes up, or I guess it goes down. It's different thresholds, like 5%, 5%, 15%, 20%. So like, if I want to buy something, it's like I want to buy it, but I don't need it like today. I want to buy it for 6 months, and then I just track it, and then it'll be in my viewing history too, and then I can go and I can check. It's like, okay, I wonder if this thing is going down in price or whatever. Yeah, look in the honey. That's a neat extension.
Okay, thank you.
So we're pushing it now. I just want to ask you a few things real quickly, and then we'll wrap it up with questions because I know you can't be here all day, obviously. What apps do you use on a regular basis? You said you use Keepa. I know you use the Amazon Seller app, right?
Mhm.
What are there any other apps that you would recommend? Again, for beginning sellers, like I said, I was looking at the baby scanning books. Now people says, well, don't buy the app. Don't buy the various apps that they tell you if price points to buy it at. Don't buy Bluetooth scanners when you're first starting. What would you recommend for like a newer Amazon seller? What apps? Keep, I guess, is something that you almost have to have, right?
So like if you're gonna do books, which I don't do a lot of books,
Right.
but I know Scout IQ is really good for
Right.
that. Now, Reseller Rowboat was saying that they use Scout IQ, but they're not seeing, I guess, much benefit from it. I haven't used it enough to really tell you my opinion of it. Like basically for everything when I was doing RA, even books, I use Scoutify, which is an app that, yeah, it comes with Inventory Lab. So
You
Inventory
purchase
Lab,
Inventory Labs, then it's a part of Inventory Labs. Now,
yeah.
I don't know if you know off the top of your head. I don't expect you to know that, but ballparkish, what is that? Is they have different levels of that, or is it just like a one flat fee typically for?
Yeah, it's at $480 a year or $50 a month. And
Okay.
they do have a 30-day free trial.
Okay.
And then what I like about Inventory Lab with the Scoutify app, when you're scanning books or you're doing RA, is you can go directly to Keepa from the app.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you would also need
So it's a bundle of different things, and Keep as part of it.
well, no, Keepa is its own, like Keepa is Keepa.com, so it's its own software.
Right.
But you can access Keepa from the Scoutify app. Now,
But it's not an additional fee, or it is an additional fee.
yeah, so Keepa is like $18 a month.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
even though you have Scoutify, Keep is separate, but you can access it. Okay. So okay,
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I thought the way you were saying, I thought it was part of. Okay, so it's not.
Yeah. You
Okay.
just what you do like when you're scanning, which I've always used my phone. I haven't used a Bluetooth scanner.
Right.
You just scan it, and then basically you can pop up Keepa, and it'll take you to Keepa for that ASIN, and then
Right.
you can look at the Keepa chart. Now they did take Keepa away on Scoutify, but you can put it back on there. So there is a way to do it. If you want to know how, definitely, I posted it in my Facebook group how to put it back on there. Because that was a big thing with Amazon sellers that use Scoutify.
Okay. They were saying that Scout IQ is best for books, I guess, over and above.
Yeah, and I keep
Scoutify
hearing
is more for like the whole.
well, Scout IQ is just for books. So a lot of big
And then
books.
he was recommending that eFlip. He said the guy that developed developed eFlip.
Yeah.
You can go back and watch my interview with Steve Rakin. I mean, I just played like 10 minutes of it, but we talk about eFlip. And that's a way to, he said, if you have a disability or homebound or whatever, you can buy books from merchants fulfilled.
Yes.
And then you can have them shipped to you, or you have them shipped to a fulfillment center, which is even better. And Steve was saying he's researching a fulfillment center that's in a tax-free state. And for $1.50 a book, you ship it to the fulfillment center, and they handle everything for you. And they're Amazon sellers, so they know exactly how to do it. They'll take it, they'll process it, and they'll ship it into Amazon for you for $1.50 a book. And you don't pay any sales tax because it's a tax-free state where they're located. So you save like I'm in like books for me in New Jersey or taxable. So I would have to pay 7% sales tax.
Right.
So, I mean, you're saving 7% from the get-go, and you're only paying them $1.50. So again, that's an option. So
that's true. That's cool. Yeah.
So that was a neat tip that he had brought up when we did the interview.
Now Kelly said she uses the Amazon Seller app. So yeah, there's different ways people do it. I mean, for me,
you definitely recommend getting Keepa and using Amazon Seller app as a part. I mean, if you're a seller, you have the Amazon Seller app. You have to have it.
Right. Yeah. That comes with your account.
And anything else you feel that like for a newbie that they should have if they're going to be committed to doing Amazon?
I mean,
let's just start out with those two.
Well, I mean,
or Inventory Lab, you said, right?
Right, but inventory, like Scoutify comes with Inventory Lab, and I really do feel like, if you're really going to get going in this business, you want to make sure that you're making profit. And so like there are other softwares out there that will do that for you, but Inventory Lab is what I use, so it's what I know the most about. And it will track like profit and loss because it pulls all of the data from Amazon Seller Central. So when you get returns and all of that, it pulls all of that information. And so you're able to go into Inventory Lab and see like your profit and your loss. You're able to see like your ROI, like how much you spent in cost of goods for the month, all of that stuff.
Guys, I want to interrupt you for 1 second, Tiffany. I just want to mention a couple quick things. Like I said, I don't want to keep Tiffany here forever. And not that I don't enjoy your company, but I know you have things to do.
Yeah.
I want to mention. I made some notes. I want to mention again. I got sidetracked, and not sidetracked, but I get concentrated on the chat, not the chat, but on the conversation we're having, and I forget my notes. One thing I did want to bring up, and I'm not even going to do a screen share, guys. I'll put it in my Facebook group. But Amazon is hiring 30,000 new employees. They had job fairs actually yesterday in 6 different locations throughout the country. I guess more like they feel that there's higher concentration of the people they're looking for in these 6 locations. So they were anywhere from software engineers starting at $100,000 a year to warehouse people at $15 per hour. And all those jobs, whether they be full-time or part-time, all included benefits. So again, they had that yesterday. And again, these aren't seasonal workers. I mean, because they always, anybody's familiar with Amazon, I know they hire additional warehouse help and different additional people to help with deliveries come the Q4. But these are year round. They're hiring an additional 30,000 people. So Amazon is the 600-pound gorilla, as they say. What else do I want to do? Oh, I'm just going to mention quickly a couple of eBay things real quickly. And then, guys, if there's any questions, please put them in the chat. And then we'll answer them as soon as possible. We'll get to the questions. And then we're going to wrap things up again because we're over an hour. And I told Tiffany I would try to keep it to around an hour. Just a reminder, guys. And again, this applies for merchants fulfilled orders, or if you're doing eBay or Mercari, whatever. Make sure you get your shipping supplies, whether it be your personal shipping supplies or USPS supplies. Make sure you get them early because USPS has issues, especially like with padded flat rate envelopes and A and B and C boxes. They run out, and God forbid you don't want to run out in Q4 of your shipping supplies. So make sure you order early and order extra. I mean, I've had it where it's taken 2 to 3 weeks sometimes to get shipping supplies from US Post, USPS website. And again, they're free, guys. They don't charge you for them. They're free. So get them. I mean, I have a box of 100 here, and I have like 50 down the basement. I mean, I don't misuse them. I use them for what they're intended for. But again, order early and order often, so you don't want to run out of supplies. You don't run out of tape. You don't want to run out of padded flat rate envelopes. And the other thing is, if you haven't used your 3rd quarter eBay coupon for supplies, if you have a store, that expires at the end of September. Again, I haven't used mine yet because I have a ton of supplies. And I told you guys I do this as a hobby, and I'm trying to eventually grow this so I can supplement my income. But I'm having a lot of health issues right now, so I don't do it nearly as much as I should. And I tell you guys all the time, and Pat was discussing it on his channel, and I say you got to feed the beast. But basically he said, and I say either list or you perish. If you're not constantly listing on eBay, you get killed as far as sales because they use Cassini, the algorithm. If you're not listing, you're not making sales. They bury your listings and you're not going to sell as much. So again, make sure you have plenty of supplies and use your 3rd quarter supply coupon before the end of September. And I'll remind you guys next week as well about that. So again, I wanted to wrap things up, and I just want to see if there were any questions we might have missed, mods, or we'll scroll through the chat and see if there's anything. I know Beth was making some comments. What was Beth saying? Let me put this in the. But now when I'm trying, after Scout IQ tells me to get the book, I'm scanning in from Amazon app to make sure why I'm sourcing, hoping that helps. And you say you don't really do books, Tiffany. So is that something that's no?
I would say with Scout IQ, like I know there's some settings that you have to do. Like they have default settings. There might be some settings you have to change. Like basically, I would reach out to their customer service and see if they can help walk you through it. Yeah, because like, basically maybe it's not calculating the FBA fees right, or maybe it's not calculating like, because you're gonna you want to err on the side of caution as far as what it's going to cost you to ship that book into Amazon.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay, so were there any questions, guys, that we may have missed, Maz or Tiffany? Do you see any questions so we can wrap things up here?
I am great. No, I am thankful for you inviting me on, and I'm thankful for everybody being here in the chat and the moderators. You guys are so awesome, and the great questions. And yeah, I say just everybody make sure that, you're taking the steps you need to take to prepare yourself for the biggest buying season.
Time of the year. And again, you said this is your first Q4, so be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Again, I want to thank Tiffany, and I thank you for accommodating me and being my friend and being on the show. And I know it was a difficult day for you, and I appreciate you making the effort to be there for me. And
thank you.
I really appreciate you. And I appreciate you, but I just want to let the people know I appreciate you as well.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. Hey, Glenn. So we're going to wrap things up, guys. And again, I have a lot of interviews with other resellers. And again, I wanted to try to bring some Amazon sellers on, because I have majority my viewers are eBay and people I know, because I go to eBay Open. I know a lot of eBay sellers. So I'm trying to bring on people from Poshmark, Macquarie, Amazon. I have some of the bigger sellers that I've been trying to book. And obviously they're successful because they're very busy. So it's difficult to book some of the bigger sellers. But again, Tiffany's a great person, very knowledgeable, quick learner, and she's a great friend. So I want to thank her for being here. And guys, there's tons and tons of interviews I have on my channel. There's all kind of nuggets. I mean, I'll go back and I'll watch something that I did like a month ago or 2 months ago or 3 or 4 months ago, and I'll pick up little nuggets, little tips, because you forget, and I just rewatch them. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you subscribing. I appreciate the guys ladies that came over from Steve when I was on Steve's channel. Again, that interview I had the link in my last video. I have the link to Steve's interview with me at eBay Open. And again, typically I do my show every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Today was 4 p.m. because Tiffany did me a favor and it allowed me to have her on. So again, guys, there's plenty of videos to watch. So please like, subscribe, and if you have any questions or comments from myself or Tiffany, put them in the comments below, and we'll get them as quickly as possible. And again, Tiffany's Facebook group, her YouTube channel, and her Instagram are all listed in the description below.
Thank you so much,
Tiffany, and thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys. Goodbye.
Have a great day, everybody.